Hi, today we are going to discuss this company, stock forecast and live earnings call. In other words, I'm going to tell you what I do expect with regards to this company, whether it is a buy or a sell at this point. And the reason to do it at this time is related to today's tweet by Citron Research. I've been asked by several clients to give my personal opinion. So I'm going to show you the chart. Citron today they issued a tweet and shares they plunged this company. So what do I have to say with regards to this situation or scenario? Is Mallinckrodt buy or a sell? The first thing that I have to say is that this stock was a sell when you find on the blog of the company that I warned investors with regards to a stock market bubble in the biotech sector. It is not only this one, it was plenty of companies in that situation, and therefore what Citron is doing, they made a good call in Valiant, but they failed or missed to alert investors for many other situations in the market. So the sell-off or the crash in Valiant or this company, as there is or there are plenty more, it is not related to the case of Valiant per se, as some they might be willing to sell you the idea, but it is related to the overall sector, and you find step by step the investment process in the biotech sector in our blog. And this started precisely in June 2015. So in June you got the top in this company and then the collapse and the crash, and this is not related, I repeat, to any fraud or allegations of fraud with regards to this company. Since Citron issued this tweet and shares they plunged more or less 14% in one day. Bear in mind that they issued only today the tweet. I think that this represents an opportunity for those that they have been short this stock to cover short positions on weakness and not to remain short the stock through earnings. Why? Because I think that it is late to sell short this stock. I think that you have to wait for shares to bounce back, since this company is likely to announce a good quarter. Moreover, unlike the case of Valiant, I think that in this particular case you will not get the marketing as in the case of Valiant. Okay, Valiant, a lot of news articles, hundreds if not thousands in the US, they have been written for obvious reasons and also interest. In this particular case, I think that will be by far more difficult, and this company, they are more educated and they will know how to protect themselves against this kind of, let's say let's call them the stock tweets. Also bear in mind that Citron is looking for new opportunities. Like I said before, they missed, they only made one call in the case of Valiant, and they missed plenty wonderful historical opportunities to sell short some of these companies in the biotech sector, and therefore they are looking for new opportunities. But I consider that their attitude it is negative, in the sense that they are not alerting investors with these stock tweets. They are in fact publicizing eventual or potential trades rather than to alert investors. Otherwise, if they were going to alert an investor, my friend, it's very simple. You would have done it so when I alerted you or warned you for these issues in the United States. That is to say, starting in June 2015, to sell short this company, and not then when shares they are plunging to $55, that you say that this is a selling short opportunity. It's completely different to sell short this stock at $140 or to sell short this stock at $60. Completely different. So I think that this American company created opportunity for short sellers, for existing ones, to cover their short positions and even to go long the stock, to play the bonds. Since I, quite frankly, have many doubts this company is going to announce a bad quarter, unlike others in the biotech sector. Moreover, like I said before, I repeat again, I think that this stock, the worst case scenario might be something like $48 to $55, and that might be limited. Moreover, according to my experience and knowledge that I have with regards to this company, the intrinsic value, that is the intrinsic value of this company, is quite high comparable to the recent price. That is to say, it is risky to sell short this stock at this point. So my decision, using profits obtained in other stocks, it was in fact to buy on weakness this company around or below $54. Today shares they trade down to $52 more or less, and I would add to the buy side if shares they would sell further to $48. Okay, I don't think that you are going to see here a collapse with shares going to $30 or $25 or so, as or even $10. Bear in mind that Citron is saying that this company is worse than Valiant. If Valiant, for them, it is the equivalent of fraud, in this case, this company then, one could say, according to what they are saying, that this company is worth zero. I respectfully disagree. What I consider is that it's going to be complicated for eventually shares to rally going forward. Why? Because there is too much negative publicity around the biotech sector. Moreover, the biotech sector in the US, in that matter, I was the first, in fact, to tell you about this. It is or corresponds to a situation that is unsustainable. Many of these companies, they are or constitute bubble stocks, and as bubble stocks, the situation is dramatically complicated, and I do think that if authorities would look at some of these companies, I'm not talking about this one in particular. I think that the Citron, the problem is that the timing it is wrong. Okay, the timing it will be right if they would, for example, if this stock would be trading at $96 or $100, I would agree with their timing to sell heavily, sell short heavily the stock. To issue a trade alert, or a recommendation to sell short the stock after the collapse, I think that is, although they might be right in the mid to long term, short term might constitute a problem for retail investors, those that they have small accounts. And again, the answer to the question, how much is worth the shares of this company, I think the timing is wrong. So I would wait, if you are looking for an opportunity to sell short the stock, I would wait for shares to bounce, all right? If they don't bounce, I will not sell short the stock, my friends. That is my decision, because I bought the stock and I think that this company is going to likely to announce a very good quarter, and I disagree with the fact that this company would be seen, at least short term, as the case of Valiant, all right? Moreover, the holders of these shares of this company are not of the same quality as the case of Valiant, all right? Although shares they collapsed for, and this is what you have to be aware of, they didn't collapse because Citron said that this was a bubble. Citron only commented with regards to this company today, okay? So this stock collapsed because of overall market conditions with regards to an overall market sector, biotech sector, which I started to address and to warn you about the existence of a bubble in June 2015, and that price, yes, this company was a terrific selling opportunity, a selling short opportunity as well. At this price, I disagree. I would prefer the long side with the instructions given here, and I will only consider to sell short this company in the future if shares they bounce. But before do selling short this stock, and I'm referring to those of you that are looking for new positions, I will try to make the most on the long side. Unlike the main principle that we follow here, I think that this stock can be eventually a good example of a short squeeze, and always obviously to buy on weakness. Do not buy after the bounce, because after the bounce you will not have any chance whatsoever. If you are interested to buy this stock, sorry, you have to buy on weakness and to leave available capital to add to long side, since as you might understand, the float of this company is rather small and volatility is rather high, all right? And I only also recommend, for those that are interested to buy this stock, I also only recommend to do it in case you profited from the crash in other companies. For example, the case of Valiant or the case of Bluebird, and there are many situations, all right? So this is very important, because if you didn't profit, or you have not profit, or you have not been on short side in those companies, some of them we remain bearish, in that case I also respectfully disagree with you assuming a long position here in this company, okay? So if you are looking for an opportunity to buy, the more it sells, the better it is for you, because then these shares of this company can turn and you can make eventually a very good profit on the long side. So use the weakness in this particular case triggered by this American company Citron to buy shares and not to sell short the stock, okay? Nevertheless, if you disagree with my opinion, you can go short the stock, and in that case, if you go short the stock at current prices, I would use $63.50 as a stop loss, okay? So if you want to sell short the stock, I repeat, at these prices, go short, but use a trailing stop or a stop loss in this case, since shares they are trading below $63.50, use $63.50 as a stop loss, all right? So this is what I have to say. I would consider, I repeat, shares of this company a good buy between $48 to $45. Why? Because then shares by moving, for example, to let's say $20 or $30 per share, you would obtain a very good profit on the long side. So the question that you might have at this point is whether it is preferable, you know, to make $10 or so on the short side, comparable then to 20 or 30 on the long side later on. Okay, I would say that it's preferable to use the weakness and to wait in this particular case instead of chasing the negative momentum, to buy the stock on weakness. If the lower it goes, better it is, and then, you know, to take advantage of a bounce in this stock going forward in the future. And once Wall Street and, you know, the company reports or whatever, and in the future if shares they bounce or, you know, they move higher or they rally, in that case, yes, you then sell shares and you go short when these, you know, these guys, Citron or whatever, or those that they follow them, they will be covering short positions, all right? Because, why? Because you have to understand that Citron said this company, it is worse than Valiant. If it is worse than Valiant, it's going down to zero, all right? So they will be always short the stock. And I disagree. In this case, I disagree. I think that eventually this might be a good selling short opportunity, more mid to long term. But this company, I think that will know how to protect themselves, unlike the case of Valiant.